Hey everyone, and welcome back. As we're all getting into the holiday spirit, have you ever stopped to wonder about some of our most cherished Christmas traditions? Take the National Christmas Tree in Washington, D.C., for example. Every year we see the beautiful ceremony of lighting this magnificent tree, a symbol of hope and unity for the nation. But where did this tradition come from? You might be surprised to learn that it all started with a simple letter and a president who was unexactly known for being Mr. Christmas. Today, we're unwrapping the story of the very first national Christmas tree. A tale that began on this day, December 24th, 1923. So grab a cup of hot cocoa, get comfortable, and let's travel back in time to the Roaring '20s. To really understand the significance of that first tree, we need to know a little bit about the man in the White House at the time, President Calvin Coolidge. Coolidge was a man of few words, famously earning the nickname Silent Cal. He was known for his stoicism, his fiscal conservatism, and his no-nonsense approach to governing. He wasn't the type of person you'd imagine joyfully stringing up Christmas lights. In fact, Christmas wasn't even a major public celebration in the way we think of it today. Sure, people celebrated in their homes, but the idea of a large public government-endorsed Christmas spectacle was brand new. Coolidge himself was more focused on balancing the budget and keeping the government running efficiently than on public festivities. This makes the story of how he came to preside over the first national tree lighting even more fascinating. It wasn't his idea at all. It was the result of some very persistent and clever public persuasion. The credit for this now iconic tradition really goes to a man named Lucius C. Morse, who was the publicist for an electrical company. But the story often highlights the role of the First Lady, Grace Coolidge, who was the complete opposite of her husband. She was warm, outgoing, and loved social events. People in Washington, D.C. felt a real connection to her. In November 1923, the idea started to gain traction. A letter, attributed to a group of Washington, D.C. public school students, was sent to the White House. It was a heartfelt plea to the president, asking for a community Christmas tree to be placed on the White House grounds, a tree for all the people of Washington to enjoy. This was a brilliant move. How could a president, even one as reserved as Coolidge, say no to the children of the Capitol? The pressure was on. The public loved the idea, and newspapers started picking up the story. It was a classic case of public relations genius, using the spirit of the season and the innocence of children to create an irresistible proposal. With public support swelling, the White House eventually agreed. The search for the perfect tree began. Magnificent 48-foot-tall balsam fir was selected from Coolidge's home state of Vermont. This was a symbolic choice, connecting the national celebration back to the president's personal roots. The tree was a gift from Middlebury College. It made a grand journey by train from the Green Mountains of Vermont all the way to Washington, D.C., and its arrival was a major event in itself. People were excited. This wasn't just any Christmas tree. It was the Asterisk Nation's Christmas tree. Once it arrived, it was erected on the Ellipse, that large grassy park just south of the White House. This location was chosen specifically so that it would be accessible to the public, reinforcing the idea that this was a tree for everyone. The plan was set for a grand celebration on Christmas Eve, 1923. Now, for the lighting part of the tree lighting, remember Lucius Morse, the publicist for the electrical company. His company, the Society for Electrical Development, saw a golden opportunity. They, along with General Electric, donated the 2,500 electric lights needed to decorate the tree. This was a huge deal in 1923. Electric Christmas lights were still a relatively new and expensive luxury for many. To see a giant tree ablaze with thousands of colorful bulbs was a truly magical spectacle. It was a brilliant showcase for the power and wonder of electricity, subtly promoting the industry while bringing joy to the public. So on the chilly evening of December 24th, a crowd of thousands gathered on the Ellipse. They were bundled up against the cold, their faces filled with anticipation, waiting for this historic moment. A choir from a local church was there, ready to sing carols and fill the air with festive music. The stage was set for a new American tradition to be born. At exactly 5 p.m. on Christmas Eve, President Calvin Coolidge walked from the White House to a switch on the Ellipse. He stood before the massive crowd and the dark, silent tree. With a simple press of a button, the 48-foot fir tree burst into a spectacular display of red, white, and green lights. The crowd gasped and then erupted in cheers. Imagine seeing that for the first time? The choir began to sing, and the sound of Christmas carols filled the cold night air. For a moment, the nation's capital was united in a shared sense of wonder and holiday spirit. Silent Cal had, perhaps reluctantly at first, become America's first Christmas president in this public sense. The event was broadcast across the country on the radio, another relatively new technology that brought the celebration into the homes of millions of Americans who couldn't be there in person. It was a powerful moment of national unity, all centered around a beautifully lit tree. That first ceremony in 1923 started a tradition that has continued, almost without interruption, for a century. The name National Christmas Tree was officially adopted, and the lighting ceremony became an annual event. The location has moved around a bit over the years, sometimes on the White House lawn, sometimes on the Ellipse, but the spirit has remained the same. Over the decades, the ceremony has reflected the times. During World War II, for instance, the tree was not lit due to blackout restrictions, serving as a solemn reminder of the sacrifices being made. In the years since, it has been a beacon of hope during challenging times and a point of celebration during prosperous ones. Each president since Coolidge has had their turn at the switch, continuing the legacy he unknowingly began. The ceremony has also grown in scale, now featuring major musical performers and being televised to a global audience. It all goes to show how a small idea, pushed forward by clever people and embraced by the public, can grow into a lasting and beloved national institution. What started as a public relations effort to sell more electricity and a heartfelt plea from the community became something much more profound. The National Christmas Tree is now a fixture of the American holiday season. It's a centerpiece for the Pathway of Peace, a collection of smaller trees representing all the states and territories. It symbolizes a moment when the nation can come together, regardless of background or belief, to share in a message of peace and goodwill. And it all goes back to that cold Christmas Eve in 1923, when a reserved president, a determined first lady, and a very smart publicist created a little bit of holiday magic. The story of the first national Christmas tree is a wonderful reminder that some of our grandest traditions have the humblest beginnings. It proves that even the quietest voices, or in Coolidge's case, the quietest president, can be part of starting something loud, bright, and beautiful. So, this holiday season, when you see pictures or videos of the national Christmas tree lighting, you'll know the full story. You'll know it's not just a tree and some lights. It's a century-old tradition that was sparked by a community swish and fanned into flame by the new technology of an electric age. It's a testament to the enduring power of holiday spirit to bring people together. What are some of your favorite holiday traditions and their origin stories? Let me know down in the comments. I'd love to read them. Thanks so much for watching and spending this time with me. If you enjoyed this little trip back in history, be sure to hit that like button and subscribe for more stories. Happy holidays, and I'll see you in the next video.